disgraceful, absolutely disgraceful.
Defense, look at the board.
All right, let's get into it. You know, in modern football, there's this huge tactical puzzle that all the top coaches are obsessed with. How in the world do you break down a defense that just parks everyone behind the ball and refuses to budge? Well, the answer, believe it or not, might be hiding in a formation that's almost 100 years old.
Right, so how on earth can a tactical idea from way back in the 1930s be the key to unlocking the super organized defenses we see today? It sounds kind of crazy, but to really get what's happening now, we have to take a quick trip back in time.
See, football tactics are always evolving, and it's usually because someone's trying to solve a problem. Way back, teams played these wild all-out attack formations, like a 2-2-6. But then, in 1925, they changed the offside rule, and suddenly that just didn't work anymore. Defenses had to get smarter, which gave us the legendary WM formation, a much more balanced, organized shape. Fast forward a bunch of years, and you get to the 2000s, where the 4-3-3 became the gold standard for possession football.
And that 4-3-3, wow, it was beautiful to watch. For a while there, it felt completely unstoppable. But, as always happens, the defensive coaches fought back, and they created a whole new puzzle for the attacking teams to try and solve.
So here's the headache that every top manager started getting. A team playing a 4-3-3 could have the ball for like 70% of the game, but when they came up against a deep, super compact low block, which is basically two walls of defenders, all that pretty passing went nowhere. It was like running into a brick wall again and again. It just became this total stalemate, with one team trying and failing to break through, and the other just sitting back, waiting for one mistake so they could launch a deadly counterattack.
And you don't have to take my word for it. Listen to a midfield genius like Xabi Alonso talk about it. He describes trying to press Lionel Messi when his team was in a rigid 4-3-3. The second he stepped forward to press, Barcelona would instantly create a 2-on-1 in the exact space he just left. The old structures were becoming predictable, and the best players in the world were starting to pick them apart.
Okay, so something had to change. The old way wasn't cutting it anymore. Teams needed a fresh idea, a way to break that stalemate and get an advantage in the most crowded, most important part of the field. What they needed was to find an extra man.
So, how do you do that? How do you just magic an extra player into the midfield when both teams have 11 players on the pitch? Well, that's the absolute genius of this whole system.
The football historian Jonathan Wilson just nails it here. He basically says that when you strip it all away, all attacking tactics are about one simple thing: manufacturing a situation where you have an extra player in space and then getting him the ball. That's the whole game.
And here is exactly how it works. It's so clever. When a team has the ball, a defender, maybe a fullback, maybe a center back, just steps up into the central midfield. It's a simple move, but what it does is it instantly creates a temporary 4 versus 3 advantage right in the heart of the pitch. That defender who moved up is the extra man, and now he's in space, ready to cause all sorts of problems for the defense.
But, and you knew there was going to be a but, right? There is no such thing as a perfect tactic. There's always a trade-off. When you pull a defender out of your backline to go and attack, you are, by definition, leaving a hole somewhere else, and that's where the risk comes in.
This gets us to this absolutely crucial idea called rest defense. It's a fancy term for a simple question. What's your defensive shape while you have the ball? The best teams are already thinking about how to defend even when they're attacking. Like Wilson says, you have to attack in a way that gets you ready for the exact moment you lose the ball and get hit on the counter. Make no mistake, the box midfield is a high-wire act. It leaves these huge, tempting spaces for the other team to attack if you lose possession. To pull it off, you need incredibly smart, technically gifted players who know exactly when to go forward and how to cover for each other. Because one tiny mistake, one bad pass, and suddenly the other team is running straight at your exposed defense with a golden opportunity.
And that kind of brings us full circle. Or actually, maybe not a circle. I love how Jonathan Wilson puts it. He says tactics aren't a cycle, where old ideas just repeat. It's more like a helix. The ideas do come back around, but every time they do, they're more advanced, more sophisticated, because we've learned from everything that happened before. This new box midfield isn't just a copy of the old WM, it's an evolution of it, built for the speed and intelligence of the modern game. So that leaves us with one final fascinating question. The box midfield is the answer for now. But as more teams master it, as it becomes the new standard, you can be sure that coaches are already working on how to beat it. A new weakness will be found, a new solution will be created, and that tactical helix will keep on turning. The beautiful game will just keep evolving. The only question is, what's next?